8:20. I'm gonna make some French toast. I'll see if Sage's gonna wanna help me. The plan is to leave for yoga this morning, but we gotta leave by 9. So, but French toast is easy. So let's use those. Mash. You wanna mash? We got cinnamon, vanilla, and a little sea salt. I'm adding some banana to help sweeten it up for Sage. Here's this. Oh. Okay, you do it. Hit it. Hit it hard. Get.
Uh-oh. Try.
Just a little bit. Shake, shake, shake. Just a little sprinkle. Yeah. We gotta mix, mix, mix. Okay, you wanna mix? You do it. You guys like French toast or pancakes better? I mean, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say pancakes just because I eat it more. But like, French toast is underrated, you know? It's so easy to make. So I'm gonna do a little drizzle of honey and some hemp hearts. You made that. What do you think? And add some strawberries, some cinnamon. Mommy's gonna do hemp hearts too. And maple syrup. I feel like we're at a point now that we can just kind of eat the same thing, which is really nice. That way I don't have to make 2 things all the time. All right, I'm gonna scarf this down and head to yoga on a full stomach. Yay. I can't work out hungry though, so. Yoga complete. I'm just gonna go find Matt and Sage. They're walking around here somewhere, but it is such a nice day today. Butter. I'm actually gonna make a blueberry pie later. And then I got 2 loaves of sourdough bread. One for, ooh, this one's fresh. One to bring to my mom's and just one for us. I always get them to slice it because I find sourdough bread is just like a pain to slice. So if they can do it for me, I feel like we actually use up the whole loaf, and it's just like a good thickness for like sandwiches and toast. And then I also got a breakfast sandwich. It's actually 12 now. We just kind of spent the morning walking around. We went through the farmer's market, but we didn't buy anything. I just didn't have like recipes planned, and I didn't just want to get anything. So, and I think we're gonna go to my mom's later anyways for dinner. She doesn't know yet. Do you guys also just like randomly pop up at your parents and you're like, hi, we're here for dinner, and don't tell them? My parents' house is like an open house. Everyone just like kind of comes and goes. I got this breakfast sandwich. It's on a sourdough croissant. This bakery like only does sourdough, I think. It's like basil, aioli. I need to like show a close up. Ready to drool. Look at that. It's like a basil, aioli, tomato, a poached egg, arugula. I think there's ham and cheddar in there. Oh my gosh. It's delish. It's delish. Oh my gosh. Sagey's having some sourdough grilled cheese because we didn't know what to give you for lunch. Fresh baked bread, organic cheddar cheese. This is the this is like a natural ketchup. Where's the show? Also, tell me you have a toddler without telling me you have a toddler. This is the brand of ketchup that I usually give to Sage. It's just sweetened with dates, and she likes it. Dip, dip, dip. If you guys watched my pantry organization video, I haven't labeled things yet. Like this is coconut flour, but it's not coconut flour. It's arrowroot flour. So it's a little confusing, but I do need to do that this week. So Sage is sleeping and I thought I would make a blueberry pie to bring over to my mom's and to also use up the other half of like 2 liters of blueberries we have. I actually already washed and froze them, so they're in the freezer because I knew they wouldn't last. If you haven't watched yet, I shared a video on my TikTok account of Sage and I making homemade blueberry pie with the blueberries that we picked, and it was so cute. She actually did a really good job helping me bake. She did think the butter was cheese, so that was a little bit of an issue because she loves cheese and she wanted to eat all the butter, and I had to explain that it wasn't cheese. A little bit of some big feelings, but it's all good. Anyways, I'm just grabbing all my ingredients and we're gonna bake some pie. I'm excited. I feel like it is blueberry season, but you can really do this with any berries. Blueberry pie is my favorite. Comment down below what your favorite pie is. I'm actually making the pastry dough recipe from my cookbook, link below. In the back, I have all the staples. Blender crepes, how to make the perfect eggs, perfect fluffy cooked quinoa. So I have a spelt pastry dough. I'm just gonna use some organic all-purpose flour. And all it is flour, salt, butter, and ice water. It's so easy. Usually I do it in a food processor, but mine's at my mom's right now. And I'm gonna just do it by hand, which is fine. You can do it by hand, or you can use like a pastry cutter, which I can't find mine. I don't know where it is, but anyways, we're good. I love the butter packs that tell you the measurements on the packaging, like genius. While we're here, I thought we could chat about something that's been on my mind lately, because if you don't know, which I feel like I talk about it all the time for a reason, but I still breastfeed my almost 2-year-old daughter. She is, I think she's 21 months now. She turns 2 in November. And yes, I'm breastfeeding. Probably everyone on here knows, but in my real life, it's still like a shocker for a lot of people that I'm breastfeeding a toddler. I always get asked like, when are you stopping? Why are you still doing it? Like, she's too old. And this is even from like close people around me, not just like internet trolls. Cause like, I don't really care what people on the internet say that I don't know in my real life. So let's just like rewind. I never thought I would be even able to breastfeed, and B, like it as much as I do now, and just like it just feels like second nature. It's really something I don't think about much. It's not really until other people question it and are like, oh, that's weird, you're still breastfeeding her? Like, isn't she too old? Like, she's walking and talking and like she can ask for it. And I honestly think it's a society thing. Like, I don't, I'm not angry at people when they ask me, but I do feel sad for a lot of breastfeeding moms who just feel like a lot of judgment and pressure around it. And honestly, whichever way you choose to feed your baby is hard. Whether you breastfeed or don't, you get judgment. It doesn't matter. One is not better than the other. Like, no matter what, you'll always get hate and judgment from others because that may be not the choice that they made. And you never know why someone maybe was not able to breastfeed, decided not to. It could be something even like they have really bad back pain and they're like, I physically cannot be bent over all day breastfeeding my child. Or maybe I can't afford formula and maybe that's why they're breastfeeding their kid until 3. Like, everyone has their own individual reasons on why they do what they do as a parent and as an individual. Okay, I told you guys I didn't have a food processor, so this is the other method, which I haven't done in so long, so hopefully it works out. But we're gonna like pinch the butter into the dough and see how that goes. I never thought I would actually be even able to breastfeed. The idea of my boobs producing milk to feed my baby was like, I couldn't fathom that in my head. I always thought, like, what if your body just doesn't produce milk, like is not capable of? And obviously that is a scenario with some people, but like, I just thought I was gonna be one of those people. Like, I couldn't physically make milk. And then after Sage was born, nothing was happening. I thought, yeah, no, definitely not happening for me. And I was already like mentally preparing myself. Breastfeeding Sage wasn't a make or break for me. I wanted to be able to, but I wouldn't be like extremely upset if I wasn't able to, because I honestly didn't know any different. I didn't know what it was like, what I would be missing out on, what that experience would be like. The second or third day, honestly, it's a blur, my milk came in. And when your milk comes in, like, it was like, I felt like my boobs were gonna explode. I knew something was happening. My amazing midwives and doula were like, yeah, no, like, she's getting milk, like, she's gonna be good. And I thought, okay, like we'll try this out. The whole idea of it all was very foreign to me. And even like pumping, I don't think I started pumping until like the second week of Sage being born. That to me was so weird. I like YouTubed it and I was like, wait, what? I didn't realize like your nipple goes like in and out like you're milking a cow. Within just a couple days of breastfeeding Sage, it felt so normal. Like even Matt would look at me and just be like, it just feels like you've been doing this your whole life. Like it's crazy how something that you've never done before can feel so normal so quickly. And because it's just like a natural thing that your body does, you know? I'd say at the year mark is when I felt starting to get judgment from people. They're like, oh, your daughter's like getting to a year. Like when are you planning on stopping? And that was the first time that I realized like, oh, there's an expiration date. Like I got to plan to stop. And really, I was just planning to go up until a year. Then when I got to that point, I felt pressure. Like I was like, I just don't feel like I'm ready to stop. Like, I don't know if I want to. And the thought of stopping was actually really upsetting to me. And I never understood this. Like I would see other friends or people breastfeeding their kids past the age of 1. I just thought like, oh, like, aren't you tired? Like, aren't you done? You know, if you don't have to, like, why keep going? And then until you're like in that position, it's hard to understand. So I get like why some people judge. Maybe they've never breastfed before. They just can't relate. I feel like some people wish they went longer, and I don't know, some people I think like put their own opinions and beliefs on other people, and you know, what was best for you may not be best for somebody else's family and experience. Yeah, I really didn't start getting judgment until the 1 year mark. And then it was like, oh, I remember having a conversation with Matt, like, I don't think I'm ready yet. And he's like, well, like, you know, you don't have to stop. At this point, like it had been so convenient for so many reasons. Like if Sage was upset, the boob. If she hurt herself, the boob. If we were traveling, which we were traveling a lot when she was 1, the boob. It was just like fast food on the go, ready from the tap at all times. And obviously there's other ways to soothe a child, but that was just like the method that worked really well for us. So it was really convenient on both parties. Not to mention like the bonding part. Like I just felt like it was a time that I could really be close with Sage and just like take in, you know, being a mom, especially since like my world is sometimes so go, go, go. And you guys know, like I was pretty much working like 2 weeks after I gave birth. Even up until this point, when I breastfeed Sage, it's just like a time where I'm pausing. It's almost meditative for me. The other big thing is the benefits to not only baby, but mom too. It's helped me so much mentally and physically. Like if I've been depressed or feeling down or anxious, there is a chemical reaction that happens when you breastfeed. I believe it's oxytocin, and it is a feel-good, relaxing, calming hormone, and you definitely notice it. That has just been really healing for me during my postpartum experience, and there's so many other benefits too. Honestly, if you just Google benefits of breastfeeding for baby and mom, like the list goes on forever. And I just think like if we know it's good, then why do we act like it's a bad habit? That's what people make me feel like. It's like, oh, still doing that, huh? And I think people forget too, like the amount of work that goes into whichever way you feed your baby. And like, instead of judging moms, I think we need to be supporting them and lifting them up. And, you know, and even huge organizations like the World Health Organization, and AAP, which is, I think, the American Association of Pediatrics, all these big words. They just updated their guidelines to say that not only do they recommend breastfeeding until 2, but even longer. If these large organizations that specialize in this are even recommending to breastfeed to 2 years, then why are we judging moms that decide to go past 6 months or 1 year? And I love that more research is coming out about extended breastfeeding, and it shouldn't even be called really extended breastfeeding. It's just breastfeeding. You're breastfeeding your kid. And honestly, all over the world, it's very normal to breastfeed past the age of 1. I think it's more of a North American thing where people think, you know, once a kid can walk and talk and ask for the boob, they no longer should get it. More of a cultural thing that we think it's weird. And I honestly think it's because breasts are sexualized a lot. So it just seems like a weird thing to be feeding a kid with your boobs if they are more aware of it. I remember myself growing up too, judging moms for breastfeeding in public. I specifically remember I was working at the time in a retail store, and a mom came in. I've probably told this story before on my Instagram, but a mom came in and she had a newborn and she was just holding her baby in one arm. I don't feel like her boob was out. She was just breastfeeding. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, her boob is just out. She's just like breastfeeding right in front of me, like I felt awkward, I guess. And it was a me problem, not a her problem. Now I'm like, oh man, it was so cool. She was just shopping, baby on her arm, like, you know, didn't care. Obviously there was something that I needed to learn myself and just be educated on, you know, why that mom is breastfeeding and why it's not a sexual thing and she's just feeding her baby. And guess what? Newborns eat like every hour and a half to 2 hours, and you gotta live your life. What, you're just sitting in a couch covered with a blanket in a quiet room with no one around because it's a sexual thing in some people's minds. Like, you're just feeding your baby. I get a lot of questions like, why are you always showing breastfeeding? You know, it's an intimate thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, it's a bonding thing, but at the same time, like, it's so normal and part of my routine now. I don't even think about it until other people mention it. I just wanted to come on and talk about how we need to stop judging moms for breastfeeding their kids for however many months or years that they want. Obviously there's like a certain cutoff time, but like within reason. Okay, I'm actually gonna get this in the fridge while I make my filling so that the butter doesn't melt or get too warm. I froze all the blueberries in this compost bag. I'm gonna do 5 cups. Okay, Matt's here. Let's get his opinion. Just like, no pressure. Okay, what are your thoughts on me still breastfeeding Sage? Like, honestly.
Doesn't
Do you care?
bother me at all. No, I don't really think about it. It's just, if it's good for Sage, it's good for Sage.
What do you think about people thinking it's like weird or she's too old or it's like a sexual thing?
Mind your business. To be honest, too many people get invested in other people's business. It doesn't make sense.
I was actually talking about this the other day. I feel like it's mostly women that actually judge or care. Like, guys are like, I don't care.
I don't think many guys have an opinion on breastfeeding.
Maybe they feel like uncomfortable to talk about it, but like,
yeah,
they're like, oh, I don't care. Like, you know, it's usually when I get judgment, it's from women. Do you think
maybe it's like being uncomfortable? Like, you're taught not to like sit there and think about other people's breasts. So if someone's breastfeeding, I'm not thinking about that.
But yeah, I do think it'd be hard if like your partner wasn't supportive. Like, if you were like, okay, Nikole, like, do you think you're gonna time to give this up soon? I think I'd feel uncomfortable. Like, it'd probably upset me, but I feel like you've been really supportive.
It's like, it doesn't really impact me. Maybe if she was like 8 years old, running up to you and doing it, then I might be like, yeah, might be a bit much. But I think like, yeah.
I always think that it feels so normal when we're just at home, and then it's like only until like we're out in public where I feel like self-conscious about it sometimes. But here it doesn't, like, she still to me is so little. When people say she's like too old to breastfeed, I'm like, she's like little, like she's a year and a half. She's so tiny.
So small.
She's so small. In the like span of her life, she's like 1%. And honestly, one of the main reasons I talk about breastfeeding a lot on my channel is because it's obviously something I'm doing right now in my personal life. I am very passionate about it, and I want to support and encourage other moms to also breastfeed, because I know if I'm getting judgment and I feel embarrassed sometimes and ashamed when I'm doing it in public, when I know it's not something I should be ashamed about, that other moms do as well. And some like end up stopping earlier because they felt pressure from other people, family members, their partner, whatever reason. And so I just want to bring more light to it and normalize breastfeeding toddlers. And lastly, at the end of the day, it's your experience as a parent, and you're never going to get this time back with your kid. So if breastfeeding is something that you really, really want to do, don't feel like you have to end that experience like too early because other people are making you feel like you're doing it for too long. At the end of the day, you're not going to get that time back. I remind myself about that all the time. Like, Sage will only be this little once in her life. And, you know, yes, Matt and I want more kids, maybe one more kid. But, you know, I may not be able to breastfeed the second time. Who knows? This could be my only breastfeeding experience. I do not know, but I've been really loving it. And I just wanted to share a little bit more about it, why I'm doing it, and encourage other moms to do the same as well if they're able to and they want to. And, you know, if you're not able to, then like, that's fine too. Like, you also shouldn't get judgment. Don't want to go past the age of 1 because you're going back to work and it's not feasible for you. That's fine too. Fortunately for me, I work from home, so it's easier for me to do it. It's still obviously a lot of work, and we have more of a routine around it. I try not to be like an open milk buffet around here, because if I let her, she will. Bottom line, when am I going to stop? I don't know. when I feel it's the right time. I'm sure it's gonna be a really hard and upsetting emotional time. Don't want that to be anytime soon. So who knows? Could she, honestly, I just like take it month by month. I don't have a plan. I'm not really like a long-term planner. I'm more just like take it by day, week by week, month by month, and see how things go. And I don't know, it doesn't bother me at all. I think it bothers other people more, wondering when I'm gonna stop. I'm like, oh, we'll see. So, okay, I'm gonna make the filling. I'm gonna put lemon zest in it. I used to always feel so intimidated about making pies, but it's really just like the dough, which you could buy pre-done if you want, but it's so easy to make. It's just flour and water and salt pretty much. There are some that have egg in it. Like I'm just doing coconut sugar, arrowroot flour to like help thicken up and absorb some of the juices so you don't just have like a super watery pie. You can also do orange zest and juice. That would be really good too. I was watching Claire Stavit, I forget her last name, her Instagram account. She used to be from Bon Appetit, and she said salt in the filling is a must. If Claire says to do it, I'm gonna do it. She also put 3/4 of a cup of sugar in it, and I'm only doing like 2 tablespoons. Okay, I got my dough. I'm gonna cut it in half. Okay, I can put the other one in the fridge for right now. Some flour. Okay, I don't have a rolling pin right now, so I'm using this, which is fine. So I basically want to roll it out to the size of my pie dish. Okay, and just drape it over. Okay, you want to really press it in. Not that this became a making pie tutorial, but since we're here. All right, so not my best pie. I mean, it's gonna taste really good, but not my best decorating and crimping. Brush all the tops with some egg wash. It's gonna just help give it some nice golden color, make it look real profesh when it comes out of the oven. Matt, you would never go to the trouble of making a pie, would you? I was just thinking like, you would never do this. A little coconut sugar. It's fini, almost. Just gotta bake for an hour and then let it cool for like another half hour and we can eat it. It is a lot of work to bake a pie, isn't it? All right, Sage is up from her nap, so let's go get her. Hi. Do you have a poopy?
Oh.
Oh, it's stinky in here. Do you have a poopy? Yeah? Oh, that's okay. Mommy's gonna change it. Also, we got a new rug in here and it's so soft. I can't wait to show a full room tour. I'm giving too much away. Okay, ready?
Good.
Ready. What do you think, Sage? Are you too old for milk? Are you too old?
Yeah.
She doesn't think so. We're gonna go to Gigi's. Yeah, you see Gigi and Vuvu and Brandon. I'm gonna miss these days so much. But I know there's more good ones to come. All right, let's go downstairs, check on the pie, and get some water.
What? What?
What? Water? 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 Cassie, come on. Come. Hi, honey. Good job. This is her favorite spot. That's not how you sit on that chair, but...
Oh.
Okay, I probably should call my mom just to be like, hey, by the way, we're coming up for dinner.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. What's up?
Are you still at work?
Yeah, another half hour.
Oh, okay. We were going to come up tonight. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that'd be nice. Are you gonna spend the night here, or are you gonna?
No, we'll probably just do dinner and just hang out and then come back here and then we can go shopping tomorrow morning.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but Matt's like, oh, you should probably tell your mom and let her know in case she has plans.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. You can come, but I forgot. Tina and I were going to Brian's 30th birthday. You know Cousin Brian?
They do have plans. Okay, pie is ready. Let me go get it. Need a trivet. Oh, it looks good. this is done. Yeah, I mean, it's been in there an hour. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring a very hot pie with me into the car because we gotta go. So we're gonna head to my mom's. How is it?
Very good.
Little afternoon blueberry pie.